Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Warnich of Statewide News Service, jbiztechphilly.com, and as you can see here, now columnist for the Jewish Press.
And I'm having a lot of fun doing all of that. It's a lot of fun, and in my column I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community, or doesn't, as the case may be. And with us today is someone from government, the Republican leader, I'll say that, of the Schenectady County Legislature, Jim Buhrmaster. Welcome to the Jewish View.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we see your name all over the place for Buhrmaster Oil, so is there any connection?
Yes, a little bit of a connection. We've been around for over 100 years.
Okay. And you're the owner and operator or president?
Yes.
And
yep, it's a family business, same place in Scotia. We've certainly grown a little. We used to start just in the village of Scotia, and now we're in 11 counties in upstate New York.
Wow.
We'll talk about that business, but you know, is natural gas eating into your...
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because it seems like that's the trend. I mean, now you're in the business, I'm not, but that's what I hear. Tell us
It's
about
cyclical like everything else. The prices go up and down. Right now, actually, heating oil is more competitive than natural gas, but then you also have propane and electric and a lot of other different sources of heat, but we service all of them.
so are you anti-fracking?
No, we need to be self-sufficient here in the United States. So I believe done safely, adhere to all the requirements, and we should be doing it.
Okay, I wasn't sure because that's
No,
natural gas.
Absolutely.
And
we need to be energy self-sufficient.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
What about the other forms of energy, geothermal, solar, wind?
They'll always be a part of it, but not a big part. You know, we talk about solar, and this area is just not strong enough to really create all of our energy. So I think a balance is perfect, that there's plenty of room for natural gas, heating oil, propane. There's even some coal still around.
So really, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that at all, you know. So tell us about the makeup of the Schenectady County Legislature. How many Republicans are there?
Well, to start off with, there are 15 legislators.
Okay.
And when I ran, which is now, I've been there 3 terms, 12 years, just won my 4th, it was 8-7 Republican versus Democrat. I went through a period of time when I was the only Republican, but right now there are 2 Republicans. Brian McGarry represents District 4, which is Rotterdam, Princetown, and Duanesburg. And then I represent District 3, Scotia, Glenville, Niskayuna.
Mm-hmm. So, and then there are some conservatives?
Yes, actually there are 3 representatives from District 1 in Schenectady, all Democrats.
Right.
Also District 2, all Democrats, 3. Then District 3, there are 5. And of the 5 that we have, 1 Republican, 1 conservative, and 3 Democrats. And then in District 4, 2 conservatives and 2 Democrats.
You know, I'm in Bethlehem, and there's, you know, the short history, I've been there for 30 years, but it was so strongly Republican, now it's so strongly Democratic. What is Schenectady? Almost even. It seems like there's some Democrats sometimes, and sometimes there's Republicans that are in charge. What's the general history? I mean, not 100 years ago, but let's say the last.
No, for a long time, the county really was Republican. But all things don't last forever, and it slowly started to change as the neighborhoods changed. Because if you look back a number of years ago, our senator, who's now retiring, Hugh Farley, Hugh Farley got his start in Niskayuna, which was basically Republican. Niskayuna now is all Democrat. There's certainly plenty of Republicans there, but they vote Democrat, and it's a Democratic board. In fact, I think everybody in their whole operation in Niskayuna is Democrat, but yet that's where Hugh Farley got his start. The other thing that's changed is that they have moved these districts. They gerrymandered around the Senate, the Assembly districts, and Jim Tedesco, for instance, Republican who lives in my town, Glenville, originally represented Rotterdam, Schenectady, Niskayuna, everywhere. Now he was only representing Glenville and Niskayuna and Scotia. Right. Glenville and Scotia. All the rest is up in Saratoga County.
That's right.
So they've moved these districts around. Senator Farley still represents part of Schenectady, all of Niskayuna and Scotia
Yeah,
Glenville.
but you know, getting back to the makeup of the county legislature, there are more conservatives on the
Than
county
Republicans.
legislature than Republicans. So what's going on with the party? I mean,
Well-
why can't the party keep, you know?
It's difficult. We have the three conservatives, and to start with, the first two conservatives did caucus with the Democrats.
Yeah.
Then when the last one got on, which is 2 years ago, he caucused with us. He's from Glenville. In fact, ran with the Republican endorsement, but then after 5 months, just decided to caucus with the other two conservatives. So
On the
now-
Democratic caucus.
On the
So,
Democratic caucus. So now you have 10 Democrats and 3 conservatives caucusing together, which is another whole issue, because you're really not supposed to have caucuses of 2 different parties.
oh, really? You're not
No.
supposed to, well, is that a county law or is that?
No, it's a real battle in the state. The gentleman's name is Bob Freeman, who has looked into a public policy, and while it's not supposed to be done, it is done.
Well, because Simcha Felder is caucusing with the Republicans and he's a Democrat.
Yes.
And that you're saying that's not legal?
Well, whether it's on a local level, it's happening. They continue with, and he is a Democrat, and has
Yeah.
continued to caucus with the Republicans, as do, 4 or 5 other downstate senators that caucus with the
Well, that's a
independent
separate,
caucus.
but that's a separate conference, though.
A separate conference, but then they work with them.
They
But yes,
work with them, but they don't caucus with them.
He does caucus with
Right.
Republicans, that's correct.
Right.
Yes.
And then, you know, you have like an independence party in the assembly, someone who's elected from the independence party who caucuses with the Democrats, but he
Yeah.
gets elected as an I.
Bottom line, we're there for the public, for the people who put us there.
No, that's true,
And-
but you know, you have a caucus of 2. I mean, how do you meet?
Well, it's better. I used to caucus by myself in the telephone booth, but now there are 2 of us. No, we caucused with the one conservative, and then that ended.
Right. So how do you work this out with, what's the other guy's name?
Brian McGarry.
Brian McGarry. How do you work this out with him?
Quite often, we talk on the phone before we go to the
That's
meeting.
it, that's it, yeah, okay, I'm just,
And then there is a caucus room at the legislature.
well, it's better than the Albany Common Council, which has all Democrats, 15 members, and it's all Democrats in the Albany Common Council. So I just told them that they should take someone from the lower wards and make them a minority leader. But
You could do that. Well, and I guess it could be a question. I am the minority leader, but the way the law is, they recognize Republicans and Democrats, but not conservatives or independents
Right.
as far as minority, because there are, as you said, 3 conservatives on the county legislature.
And I told Richie Stack, who's the Conservative Party chairman of Albany County, I said, you know, you should also, you know, you should be the majority party, because he endorses more of the Republican and Democrats. They have his line.
His line,
Than
yeah.
any other party. So he really should be the majority party of the conservatives.
Well, I remember Richie very well. I met him when I was running for Congress back a few years ago, and had their endorsement, and appreciated it very much.
So you can't convince these 3 conservatives to come over and to run as a Republican or?
No, because they got their way on the legislature with the endorsement, 2 of them, of the Democratic Party.
I see. Something like Albany, where the Democrats often get the
Why wouldn't
conservative
anybody
party
want to be
line.
with the majority anyway? I mean, wouldn't that?
Well, it's
I mean,
not like-
I don't know what they're thinking or not, but to me.
Because we need a
you know,
two-party system. And if everyone caucuses with one party, you don't have a two-party
Well, you
system.
get more from the majority, won't you?
Well, I don't know if that works on the county level as much as the state level. No.
No, and I think when it comes down to it, 90% of the issues that come up are not a problem for anybody. 5% are solved very easily. It's only a small percentage, maybe 5%, that are really contentious, that do cause parties. And one of the big ones was the SAFE Act,
Yeah.
the New York State SAFE Act, which really was a travesty the way it came down.
Right, but you were supportive, you're against the SAFE Act.
Absolutely
Yeah,
against it. I think we need to protect the Second Amendment, but on my own legislature, I tried to get a repeal passed and
Yeah.
couldn't. A year later, a little over a year later, it did pass, and it passed 13-1, a repeal. So that group that was against me took a look at the tide and what was going on in New York State, and particularly Schenectady County. And people came to our meetings quite often, expressed their feelings, and the end result was we did pass a repeal in Schenectady County.
Does it mean anything to repeal?
No, it was just the county, it's just the county
It's-
expressing their intentions of what they'd like the state to do.
As far as it happening in Albany, not much of a chance.
Right. So let me ask you also about, because your district borders the city of Schenectady. It kind of is the suburbs around, like, said
Niskayuna and then Glenville,
Scotia,
on the other
right.
side of the river.
So how will the casino impact your district, negatively, positively? Because there's going to be an overflow.
Oh, that's an excellent question, and it's a real bone of contention for those of us in Glenville in particular. The way the law is set up came down from Albany. The money is shared between the county of Schenectady and the city of Schenectady, the county that it's in and the city that it's domiciled in, Schenectady City. We will have loads of traffic going up and down Freeman's Bridge Road into Glenville, going north. Burnt Hills, Boston Spa, Clifton Park. Our law enforcement is going to be impacted on it greatly, but no funding for it. So this has become quite an issue.
You just say you're gonna get the money, though.
The money's going to the county, which will do county activities, and it'll go to the city of Schenectady, which will take care of city activity, but not to the suburbs like Glenville or
Right.
Scotia or Niskayuna.
Nothing goes to the village or the town. So,
Oh,
for
I
example,
understand.
if they need road repair, it's not on town and village roads. They're gonna have to pony up money out of their own pockets.
We're gonna have to look to the county and say, hey,
Yeah.
the casino is impacting upon us.
Now, would the county legislature majority sort of tweak you and say, well, no, we're not going to do it because, they're gunning for you, or
No, I would think that there'll be
There'll be-
understanding
for
and
the good of
other
the,
side
for the good of
like
the people?
For the good of the people. There are 6 legislators in the county legislature from the city. There are 9 from the suburbs, Rotterdam, Princetown, Duanesburg, Niskayuna, Scotia,
Right.
Glenville. So there are more in the suburbs than there are in the city. And I'm sure we'll be able to work together with them.
Yeah, you got hopes that could really, is there going to be a county legislative, like casino committee or gaming committee?
There isn't now, but I suspect that could happen.
Because that's where some of these issues could be hammered out on the.
Well, it's interesting, the way our legislature works. Our committees have a chair and a co-chair,
Yeah.
and then every other legislator. So
Okay.
every one of our committees is 15.
I see. So are you co-chair or chair of any
I'm
committee?
a co-chair of a hospital and human services.
Okay, and why was that chosen for you, or did you choose that?
No, I was chosen for me.
Okay,
In my earlier years on the legislature, I was a chair of different committees,
why was that chosen for you?
no longer in a majority.
No, but what's wrong with, with that title,
Oh,
with
there's
the
nothing
health
wrong with
committee?
it.
I mean, that seems,
I have been very concerned of the cost that we spend for for Glendale Home.
okay.
And we lose $10 to $15 million a year.
How
Sounds
many
like-
residents? We had the same thing with the Albany.
I'm
We've
aware
had-
of that.
We have just so many shows talking in
And
Albany.
we need a good facility, but
How many people,
everywhere
how many
else-
beds? About 200?
we are about 184.
Right.
We used to
Don't
have
sound much.
500, but then we built the new nursing home. And in 2014, our loss was 13.8 million. Since I've been on the legislature, we've lost over $100 million. And people argue it's our job to do that. But the private sector is
Not to lose money. It's, your job is not to lose money, it's
We're
to take
supposed to
care.
protect the people's money.
You're supposed to take care of the nursing home and
Yes.
provide the nursing home, that's what you meant.
Yes,
Okay.
and everywhere as you look around us in New York State, they've gotten out of the nursing home business.
It's almost
Well-
cheaper, wouldn't it be, just to divide the math, I'm doing it fast, is just to put everybody, give them a private nursing home instead of,
Well,
for the $10 million for 180, it's like,
our
it's
our
worse
governor
than
stated that he wants people to stay in their homes.
Right.
yeah.
Let's take this money and find a way to help people stay in their homes. Help
Yeah.
the parents, the children, the uncles and the aunts, keep them in their homes. It's a much better environment.
And how much oversight do you have on the health committee regarding Ellis Hospital?
We really don't get into
Because they're a private entity.
their private
Yeah.
entity. I happen to serve on the Ellis Hospital Foundation Board.
Oh, you do?
So I'm
Oh.
very familiar. My dad spent his last year and a half in the 6th floor of Ellis.
I see.
Had dementia, Alzheimer's we thought, ultimately Alzheimer's, and he was there, and they took super care for him. So when there was an opportunity, I was asked to be on the board, and I said yes. So
That's
I've helped them fundraise for all these projects that they've done. And they're doing good, but the hospitals have the same issue, the competition, the mandates that come down from the federal government, the state government, and the cost, they're huge.
What? I'd like just back to the casino just for a minute, but would there be positive ramifications? You know, I don't have the geography of, you know, as well as Mark has, but I mean, maybe another restaurant, a gas station, I don't know the flow of traffic you say is going through the suburbs. But you're saying the negative, obviously you have to repair the roads, but there's probably a positive. Isn't a few businesses going to sprout up?
I think that will be borne out by how this casino survives. They want to keep the people in downtown Schenectady. We have loads of restaurants. We've put a lot of money. We have something that no other county in the state of New York has, Metroplex. It's in our taxes, and that has helped the rebirth of downtown Schenectady, which has been very good. But we have a lot of restaurants, a lot of businesses, and they really want to keep the people in the area of the casino. Now, going across the river into Glenville, we'll have the traffic, but I'm not sure you'll see a lot of people stopping at a business. If they leave the casino, they're not going to stop at a liquor store, or they might stop at Walmart on the way out.
Or the restaurant. You know, you got that restaurant on the water.
Right on the corner.
No, on the water, near Jumping Jacks, on the water.
Well, Glenn Sanders.
Not Glenn, across the street from Glenn Sanders.
You're talking about Water's Edge Lighthouse.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, that's on Freeman's Bridge, which is right by the casino.
Oh, is it?
And we
Okay.
just had the groundbreaking for a new hotel that's going to be built there.
Well, Water's Edge will certainly see a boost
They
in
should
business.
benefit from it.
Sure, and it's
Absolutely.
already crowded.
Yeah, no, they should do it, and they're putting a hotel up there, even though there are 2 hotels on the casino.
So Water's Edge is putting a hotel?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
105 rooms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so there will be a little bit business, still, there is a positive spin on that, I mean, also. I mean,
And
a few businesses
the
will
problem we
sprout up.
have is you take a look at Las Vegas
And
and Atlantic City.
right.
And once you leave the heart of the casino area, the neighborhoods are pretty tough.
Right.
And that is the concern that a lot of people have in Schenectady, particularly Front Street, the Stockade area, historic, beautiful. Will there be a problem in that area?
Crime, you mean?
Yeah.
You know, I know the
Don't
other-
know.
Do you
there was-
think that it, I mean,
I would certainly hope not.
but you know, I
right,
know
we all hope
in-
not,
I mean,
except when there's a
again,
flood, they may not let them go there when there's, when the
I'm
Stockade
in Bethlehem, and
floods.
they wanted to make one near Albany, right at the edge of Albany, near Bethlehem. And Bethlehem people went crazy, and they passed resolutions, and because they felt that there's going to be a spillover of crime, because some people, number one, get drunk, and number two, that they lose their pants in the casino, and they
Right.
just felt that there's a lot more crime around these areas, so who's going to pay? Who wants, you know, criminals next door to you?
Well, and that's the concern that we have in Scotia Glenville. Will that happen? We know that when they built Walmart in Glenville, our public safety needs were increased dramatically.
Well, same in Bethlehem when they built Walmart in Bethlehem, yeah.
It's just,
Shoplifting, the police
Exactly.
are there every day.
Yeah,
so, we will see.
okay.
We will find out.
Are you a gambler? Do you like to
I
bet a
could
little
go
bit?
in and out of a casino in Atlantic City or Las Vegas and not put a nickel in or a dollar or anything. I'm not a gambler.
But if you're recreational, if you did have a gaming thing, do you like roulette or blackjack?
No,
or
if I did something, because I don't gamble at all, I would probably
do the slots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't gamble either. But
Okay.
if I go to Atlantic City, I mean, I'm a blackjack. I like roulette and blackjack. You know,
Okay.
I can't understand craps and all that, but it's fun to throw the dice at least. So,
No,
but that's it. I just do it for the fun of it, and I get the lowest amount of my, I'm not like at a $25 table. I'm more like a $5 table or a $1 table. You know.
No, when I've traveled to those venues, I usually go and enjoy the entertainment.
Yeah, that's
a good
right. Yep.
meal and the entertainment.
And so you might go to Turning Stone or
Actually, I've never been to Turning Stone, and I go by there all the time going to Syracuse.
Well, you should stop because you'll get a sense of what it looks like now and picture it as one building when they first started and how it's grown and expanded, especially with the golf course and the hotels and how opulent it looks, and take a sense of what it is. You know, the area around the casino was never anything to write home about anyway. So it's not like when you leave the casino, you know, it's not benefiting the area, but you'll get a sense of what's going to happen in Schenectady when this casino thrives and they start expanding and building from that lot. You know.
And our hope is that it will help the businesses downtown. We have two old-time businesses just down the road from the casino, Mike's Hot Dogs and Moret's Steak Sandwiches.
Oh yeah, well Moret's.
They both have been there forever. They're both good establishments, and I hope that it helps them.
Well, Moret's almost closed.
They get changed hands, and I know the folks who run it. They do a marvelous job.
And then you got the bowling alley across the street.
The bowling alley is right there.
Hopefully they can upgrade the bowling alley and keep that going, because I see a lot of bowling alleys closing, and that's one of my passions. Is
bowling, we're going to be positive about it.
Okay. Now, Niskayuna is another part of your district, and that's a large Jewish community in Niskayuna. And they even, you know, some of the synagogues border Schenectady, Niskayuna. In fact, one of them sits right on the boundary. So how, and you got the JCC in Niskayuna on Balltown Road. How much do you get involved with the Jewish community, and do you get out to see the folks at the JCC or at the synagogues or whatever, you know?
Yeah, they, quite often they do a wonderful job of getting the public involved in the political campaigns.
Who's they? I'm sorry.
The Jewish Community Center. And we have, almost every year, have a forum, which is terrific. They do a very, very good job. Very, very good friends with Neil and Jane Golub, who have been strong supporters of most everything that goes on in Niskayuna. And then actually, Rabbi Cutler comes to our legislative meetings about every third month.
Right. Does the prayer?
Yep.
The opening prayer.
Opening prayer, and then stays, and I talk to him often, and he's been very, very supportive of good politics.
Now that's interesting, because you're so conservative and he's so liberal.
And you know, we get along fine. They have a beautiful carrot festival in our community.
Well, that's Agudat Achim on Route 7.
Troy Road. Yeah. And I always go to that. Try to stay as involved. People say that once the race for politics is over, you just drop it. My wife and I go out to eat wherever we can in Schenectady County, but we like Niskayuna and Scotia and Glenville because they're the ones that I represent. But we certainly go in Rotterdam, Princetown, Duanesburg, as well as the city. You need to hear from everybody in the community.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Now, you had aspirations when you wanted to run for Congress, and you made a bid several years ago when it was an open seat when Mike McNulty retired. And I know that you mentioned Jane and Neil Golub. They contributed to your campaign. Yes,
they did, and they were very, very big helpers, and they've continued to support me without question. And again, I wasn't successful in getting to Washington.
No, we would have been calling you Congressman Buhrmaster.
Well, and people say now, you know, there's a reason why you didn't get it.
Because
you don't belong down there.
You're too honest and you're too good.
It's a different type of world.
Yeah? Well,
but it was an open seat, and I knew Mike McNulty. I used to go see him every year for business, just to push our side of the industry. And his first cousin worked for me, Tom McNulty. So I got to know him well. And he said, I appreciate the fact that you're interested, but you're crazy to run for it.
Right.
And in the end, I didn't win, but that congressional district is pretty heavily laden with the Democratic side rather than Republican
I think you might know this, but in the late 90s, I was the executive director of the Albany County Republican Committee.
Yes.
And George Scaringe was chairman, and then Fred Field, and then Peter Kamani. But when we had to have people running for Congress in the district, I would take the congressional candidate. Normally, the congressional candidate came from Albany County.
Yeah.
And Montgomery County was always the weakest county in terms of raising money, in terms of showing support and getting the vote out. So you experienced that also.
Yes. And my big problem was Albany, though. In the end, the votes, you take the city, it's very, very hard to get many Republican votes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that's what I said with the Common Council. I mean, it's all Democrat, and, you know, I was getting people to run for county legislature, Republicans to run for county legislature. But, you know, you got to keep at it. I mean, you can't just run once, and you got to break that stigma of, oh, you know, it's a fait accompli, the Democrats are going to win. I mean, you just have to keep going at it with the same candidates so people get to know the candidates. I mean, a lot of times people get reelected. In your, you know, with the Schenectady County Legislature, you have 5 districts and several people run in each of the districts. Yeah. So you have some Democrats within your district.
Oh, absolutely. And
they still vote for you because they like you, because, you know, they've gotten to know you. And they will keep you, same thing with Hugh Farley, until you retire. Then it's an open seat, and then it's up for grabs.
And that was the reason that I jumped in. I had no interest in being involved, but it was an open seat.
Yeah.
And thought I would give it a try. It was a great experience, but
how many?
I got 96,000 votes. No one's ever gotten that many on the Republican side for that seat with Conservative and Republican.
Wow, that's great. And what percentage of the vote did you get? Do you remember? I didn't have it here.
Maybe 40.
I know that you loaned your campaign, I think, $500,000 or something.
Well, a little bit less, but.
But it's nice that you had $500,000 to kick in.
I remortgaged my house.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, and I'm still paying for it.
Wow.
I did not want to go out and ask for more money. I was just about cleared. I remortgaged the house at a time when all 4 boys were off and gone with their own families, and it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Oh, wow.
In hindsight, okay. I would have done it with a loan to try and get it paid back, but
yeah.
I borrowed it and remortgaged. So.
Oh, okay. So, and
yeah.
Wow. Oh, well, I'm sure.
So when you look at the record, they'll find out that's where it came from.
Well, the banks like you then.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a nice local lending institution.
So you raised, but you still raised money. I mean, you had $305,000 or so, yep. $300,000 in individual contributions.
And
right?
that's one of the issues with running at that level for Congress. You're dialing for dollars. I spent 3 to 4 hours every day calling people and recalling people, looking for money. That's what there's too much money in politics. It's too much money in politics.
Unless you're self-financed, this is, you know.
Well, and there's stuff going on the national level, and both sides have got tons of money, and they're asking for tons more.
Well, they do, and you get emails every day saying, you know, just chip in $5, just chip in, because they figure if everyone around the country chips in $5,
that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they, but on the congressional level, I mean, it does take over $1 million to run in this 5-county congressional district.
Without question.
You know.
Yeah.
So you were certainly underfunded, but you had a lot of spirit. You had people helping you on your campaign.
We had a ton of people. I had a lot of people that contributed to my campaign, $5 or $500.
What else would you like to mention that we didn't bring up that you might like people to know about you?
I think we've really got to take a look at the word politician, because some people are politicians and other people are. I consider myself more of a citizen legislator, because I really am not a full-time. My look at it is it's family first, then your occupation, then politics. And we've lost sight of that. We've got a lot of people that have put the political thing first. And to me, that's not a good thing. I don't think our forefathers intended us to have full-time politicians the way we do now. Well,
except if you're Paul Tonko and you don't, you know, you're single and you don't have a big family to take care of, and your occupation is only the elected office.
Yep, and Paul and I had that conversation often. We were very good friends. Had known him for many, many years before I ran against him. You know. And he is a career politician, and I'm the other three.
Right.
Family, business, and then a citizen legislator.
Now, and I also saw you recently at the Ted Cruz, when
yes.
Ted Cruz came to Scotia, was it?
The one was in McKeel Christian Academy,
right.
Scotia.
So, in Scotia. So you know, you were a Cruz supporter, or you were there because he was in your district and you paid respect?
He was in our district. Actually, the one that I was intrigued by was Ben Carson.
Oh, really? Okay.
I really honest, surgeon, very accomplished. He just couldn't get his message out. And as you remember, curiously, the highest ones of the 17 that were running originally, besides Trump, were Carson and
Right.
Carly Fiorina.
Right.
Non-politicians.
That's right.
People are sick and tired of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party.
So what, do you think Trump is going to be successful? I mean,
I believe he'll be successful.
Unless
I've met him a couple times.
Oh, you have?
And I did go to his, which was thousands of people. I didn't meet him. I met him when I was down in his Trump Towers. The upstate Republicans met him a couple times 2 years ago
Right.
when he was looking at running for governor.
Right, I know. He went to
And-
Syracuse also
Yeah.
to give a speech. I was there for that.
He did. Very impressive. He will surround himself with people who are smarter in each of the disciplines than he is.
Yeah.
Does he say things that I'm uncomfortable with? Absolutely and positively. But I'm not comfortable at all with the other side.
But you'd like to see Ben Carson in the administration, maybe a
Somewhere,
surgeon,
yes,
Surgeon General or whatever, or
Absolutely.
something?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's
Right,
good.
good,
Okay.
excellent. You know, it was very intriguing that we were talking to you and getting to know you a little bit. And, you know, you're the right kind of person, I think, that, you know, puts everything in the right perspective. So a lot of success, whatever you're into, and a lot of things you're into, and continue to do them with good health.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Continued success,
Thank
absolutely.
you.